Hi everybody, Marcus Collins with the MA Properties Online team with your Lexington market review for 2019. The data's in, we've crunched the numbers, and so here's our analysis of what happened in the market in 2019 and what we predict will happen in the market in 2020. We do these reviews every year, and we inevitably start it with a comment like, there's not enough inventory. Well, 2019 reversed that trend. Economic uncertainty and the perception that we may well have a housing correction on the horizon has forced many sellers, many who decided to stay put, to take advantage of the price appreciation we've seen historically, to actually put their homes on the market. Combine that with static buyer demand, even in the historically strong under $1 million price bracket, has caused an increase in inventory and static real price appreciation. The one bright spot in all of this has been the luxury market. We define that as home sales over $2 million. This sector has seen a marked increase in demand and a corresponding strengthening in those key indicators like days on the market, sale price to list price ratio, etc. So what about the numbers? Well, in 2019, we saw 443 single-family homes be listed. Of those 443, only 313 sold. So that's about 30% that remained unsold. Add to that 50% of those properties that sold for less than asking price. You can see that we've got a relatively weak housing market in 2019. 2018, looking at those numbers, about 20% remain unsold. But again, slight weakening in 2019 in comparison to 18, and 18 was somewhat weaker than we saw historically. So, median price, interestingly, it went from 1.15 in 2018 to 1.2 in 2019. But don't be fooled by that. Remember what I said in the introduction around the luxury market being stronger than we've seen historically. The fact that we saw more over $2 million homes selling means that that median has been skewed, as is the average. And so what looks like price appreciation actually isn't. And we've seen static price appreciation in 2019. We can see that the weakening again in the sale price to list price ratio. In 2018, that ratio was just over 101%, 101%. In 2019, it dropped to under 99%. So about a 2% drop in that, which is quite large for that ratio. So what does that mean for sellers and what does it mean for buyers? Well, for sellers, there is more competition. Historically, it's been a seller's market. That isn't the case anymore. There is competition from other sellers. And so you need to focus on the fundamentals. Clearly, preparation and staging, creating the product that today's buyers are looking for. You need to market it, be it print, digital, social media. You need to get that home exposed to the market. And as well as that exposure, broad via social media, but also targeted. If a buyer came to a $1 million home last weekend but was unsuccessful, you need to make sure that we target your home, if it's in that price range, this weekend. So both broad in social media as well as targeting in terms of email and advertising. The big one, of course, is price. This brings me to the buyer side too. Buyers are becoming much more price conscious. And so for sellers, you do need to price correctly. You always have, but it's even more important this year. As I said, buyers becoming much more price conscious. Having said that, if you're looking to buy in what is a very strong town, Lexington, the fundamentals of Lexington are very strong. If a home ticks all the boxes, it's likely to tick all the boxes for a number of other buyers too. And so you do need to jump on those homes when they come on the market. So, moving very much from a seller's market to a much more balanced market. That's what we saw in 2019. And we see that will continue in 2020. We have an election in November. There's a question mark over the strength of the economy. And it's likely that consumer confidence, and by that read buyer confidence, will remain weak. Having said that, the fundamentals of Lexington are strong. So demand for this town is likely to be relatively strong. I say that relatively strong. But depending on the perception of a housing correction, we may well see the price appreciation remaining static as we did in 2019, moving forward into 2020. So that's the review for 2019. Lots more information in this handy booklet. We've just put it out, the Lexington Market Review. It'll be in mailboxes if you live in Lexington. It will also be on our website. Feel free to take a look at it. Lots of information, both on the single family market, the luxury new construction, the rental, as well as our much more expansive predictions of what we see in 2020. So with that, I'll wrap up. It's been a long video, this one, sorry about that, but we had lots to cover. As I say, make sure you pick up a copy of the Lexington Market Review to find out all the details behind that. So with that, bye.